By the age of 40, most people have spent 2 decades working, 2 decades earning, 2 decades believing that if they just kept going, kept grinding, kept showing up, it would all eventually work out. But somewhere between the student loans and the car payments, between the weddings and the grocery bills, between the kids' school supplies and the credit card minimum payments, the plan quietly fell apart. And nobody told them. Not your parents, not your school, not your employer. You were handed a script. Go to school, get a job, work hard, spend freely, retire someday, and you followed it, almost perfectly. So why does it feel like you're losing? Why does every Sunday night carry this low, quiet hum of financial anxiety? Why do you open your banking app, then immediately close it? Why do you scroll past your friends' vacation photos and feel something you don't want to name? Most people don't realize they're losing until life sends the bill. And by 40, that bill is getting very, very hard to ignore. By 40, financial mistakes become brutally expensive, not just in dollars, in time, in options, in the life you were supposed to be living by now. You were taught how to earn money, not how to escape the system built to take it from you. So what should your finances actually look like by 40? And if you're already behind, how do you catch up before time runs out? There's a very specific kind of pain that hits around 38, 39, 40. It doesn't show up on your face. You don't talk about it at dinner. You keep your voice even when someone asks how you're doing. But it's there. It's the moment you do the mental math in a restaurant and feel a flicker of panic. It's the moment your car needs a repair you didn't budget for and your stomach drops. It's the moment you realize you've been living paycheck to paycheck and you have a good job. How is this possible? Welcome to the invisible financial crisis of the American middle class. It doesn't look like poverty. It looks like a nice house with a second mortgage. It looks like new cars with 7-year loan terms. It looks like a 401k that hasn't been touched in 3 years because the contributions felt too painful. It looks like you. Don't be insulted by that. Because it also looks like your neighbor, your coworker, your brother-in-law who seems to have it all figured out. The reality is, 2/3 of Americans say they couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt. Not people in poverty. People with jobs, with salaries, with houses and cars and kids in soccer leagues. And the dirty secret of our culture is this. We are obsessed with looking financially okay, not being financially okay. Looking it. We lease cars. We can't afford to impress people we don't really like. We renovate kitchens to keep up with a standard of living that exists mostly on Instagram. We buy things, not to use them, but to send a signal. Most people buy proof of wealth instead of wealth itself. And by 40, the performance is exhausting. Because deep down, you know the truth. The truth is that you've spent 20 years working hard, and you still don't feel financially free, not even close. Let's talk about the numbers, not to make you feel bad, to give you a real target, because most people have never been given one. First, an emergency fund. By 40, you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting in a high-yield savings account, not in a checking account, not invested, liquid, untouched, available. This is your financial immune system. Without it, every unexpected expense becomes a crisis. Every car repair, every medical bill, every job disruption. Without an emergency fund, life doesn't just cost money, it costs your future. Second, retirement savings. The general benchmark that financial planners use is this. By 40, you should have roughly 3 times your annual salary saved for retirement. So if you earn $70,000 a year, that's roughly $210,000 saved. I know what you're thinking. That number might feel distant. It might feel like a joke, but that's not failure on your part. That's the result of a system that was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you employed. Third, low or zero high-interest debt. By 40, your consumer debt should be minimal or gone. Credit cards, personal loans, anything charging you over 10% interest. Because high-interest debt isn't just expensive, it is a slow financial leak that bleeds you dry every single month. Debt steals future freedom. Fourth, income diversification. By 40, you should have at least begun building income that doesn't require your direct time. A side business, dividend stocks, rental income, royalties, anything. Because if your only income source is your job, you are one bad quarter away from financial disaster. You are one health crisis away from watching everything unravel. Fifth, real assets. Not just a house with a massive mortgage attached to it. Investments, index funds, a retirement account that is actually growing. Something that works while you sleep. Because here's the cold mathematical truth. The wealthy don't get rich by working harder. They get rich by owning things that grow in value while they're doing something else. And sixth, valuable skills. Skills that are rare. Skills that are in demand. Skills that the market pays a premium for. Because in the economy we're living in, generic is dangerous. Generic gets replaced. Generic gets outsourced. Your skills are your ultimate financial asset. Protect them. Grow them. Weaponize them. Now let's talk about the real reason most people arrive at 40 financially unprepared. And I want to be very honest here. This is going to be uncomfortable. It isn't bad luck. It isn't the economy. It isn't your upbringing. Not entirely. It is a series of completely predictable psychological traps that you walked into. Because our entire culture was designed to lead you there. Trap 1, lifestyle. Inflation. You got a raise, you upgraded, you got a promotion, you upgraded, you paid off a car payment, you immediately took on a bigger one. This is the silent killer of wealth. Not spending big. Spending bigger every single time your income grows. The person earning $50,000 and living on $48,000 will always outperform the person earning $100,000 and living on $99,000. Always. Trap 2, the car trap. Americans have been brainwashed into believing a car is an identity. Think about how insane this is. You take something that drops 20% in value the moment you drive it off the lot. You finance it at 7% interest over 72 months. You insure it. You maintain it. You pay property tax on it. And then you call it a success. The average new car payment in America right now is over $700 a month. That is $8,400 a year going into a depreciating asset. That is over 10 years, roughly $84,000 that never builds equity, never returns a dividend, never grows. It just disappears. Trap 3, status purchases. The handbag, the watch, the sneakers, the luxury brand, anything. Let me be clear about what these purchases actually are. They are money you're spending today to signal a status you haven't actually earned. They are admission tickets to a show where the audience is full of people doing the exact same thing. The middle class is trained to look rich, not to become rich. Trap 4, debt addiction. At some point in your 20s, someone handed you a credit card and said, "This is how adults do it." And then the offers kept coming. 0% APR for 12 months, cash back on every purchase, rewards points, travel miles, and underneath all of it, buried in the fine print, was a system specifically engineered to keep you borrowing. The average American household carries over $10,000 in credit card debt, at an average interest rate of over 20%. That is not bad luck. That is a product, and you are the customer. Comfort can quietly destroy ambition. When things are okay enough, there is no urgency to change them. When the apartment is fine enough, the job is stable enough, the car works well enough, you stop fighting. And that's exactly where they want you. There is a specific financial ecosystem designed to capture people who earn enough to feel comfortable, but not enough to feel free. It is called the middle class. And it is not a destination. It is a holding pattern. Here's how it works. You earn a solid income, maybe $60,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. You own a home with a 30-year mortgage. You have 2 cars with loan payments. You have kids in activities that cost more than most people's rent. You have a lifestyle that requires every dollar you earn just to maintain itself. And here's the trap. Your mortgage is an asset only in theory, because if you can't afford to miss a payment, it isn't really yours yet. Your retirement account is growing slowly because you can only afford to contribute the minimum. Your emergency fund is empty because there's nothing left at the end of the month. You are earning more than your parents ever dreamed of, and you are one missed paycheck away from serious trouble. This is not a personal failure. This is a structural trap. The system needs you to keep spending. The economy is fueled by your consumption. Your job needs you to stay dependent on it. And every institution around you, banks, retailers, advertisers, even your own employer, has a financial incentive in keeping you exactly where you are. You are not behind because you are lazy. You are behind because you are playing a game designed for you to lose. At 25, mistakes cost money. At 40, mistakes cost years. This is the part of the video most people feel in their chest, because at 25, time was something you took for granted. The compounding clock hadn't really started. You could spend freely, recover quickly, pivot on a dime. At 40, the math changes completely. If you have $0 saved for retirement at 25 and start investing $500 a month at a 7% average return, you reach roughly $1.2 million by 65. If you start at 40, doing the exact same thing, you reach roughly $300,000. Same discipline, same sacrifice, 1/4 the result. That is what the delay cost you. Not effort, not intelligence, time. And you cannot buy it back. There's something else that changes at 40 that nobody talks about. Your energy. The grind that felt exciting at 28 starts to feel heavy at 42. The hustle that was a thrill becomes a burden. The body that recovered in a day takes a week. This isn't weakness. This is biology. And financially, what it means is this. The window for aggressive income growth and wealth building is not unlimited. It has a timeline, and that timeline is already running. This is not meant to crush you. This is meant to wake you up, because the people who feel this urgency, the ones who let it actually change their behavior, those are the ones who make it. Okay, this is the part that matters most, because everything I've said so far is only useful if it ends here, with a real path forward. So let's talk about how to actually catch up, not with 10-step programs, not with generic advice you've heard 100 times, with the uncomfortable, honest, high-leverage moves that change trajectories. Step 1. Kill the ego spending. This is the hardest one, and the most important. The car that impresses people. The brand that signals success. The vacation you posted more than you lived. Every dollar you spend performing wealth is a dollar not building it. Go through your monthly expenses with a brutally honest eye. Ask yourself for everything on that list. Am I paying for this because it improves my life? Or am I paying for this because of what it says about me? That question alone can free up hundreds of dollars a month. Step 2. Increase income aggressively, not gradually. The math of catching up is non-negotiable. Cutting expenses alone will not get you there fast enough. You have to earn more, and not in the timid, wait for a review and hope for a 3% raise way. Aggressively. Ask for the promotion and have the data to justify it. Pick up freelance work in your industry. Monetize a skill the market will pay for. Start a service business. Build a digital product. The difference between $60,000 a year and $90,000 a year invested over 15 years is not 50% more wealth. It is transformational. Step 3. Stack high-value skills. The most dangerous financial position you can be in is being good at exactly one thing. Because one thing can be replaced. One thing can be automated. One thing can be outsourced. But the person who combines 2 or 3 rare skills, that person is nearly irreplaceable. Writing plus data analysis, sales plus product knowledge, leadership plus technical fluency. Stack skills the way the wealthy stack assets, deliberately, consistently, with the long game in mind. Step 4. Invest consistently, not perfectly. One of the biggest mistakes late starters make is waiting until they have enough to invest meaningfully. There is no enough. There is only starting. $200 a month in a broad market index fund is not glamorous. It is not going to make you feel like a financial genius, but compounded over 15 years at historical average returns, it becomes something real. Start, then increase it when you can, then increase it again. Step 5. Stop comparing. Start building. Comparison is the most expensive habit in America. Every dollar you spend reacting to what someone else has is a dollar diverted from what you're actually trying to build. The neighbors with the new deck are probably financing it. The co-worker with the luxury car is probably upside down on it. The couple on Instagram is probably editing out the credit card statements. Stop funding a performance for an audience that isn't paying attention. Step 6. Build leverage. Leverage is what separates people who catch up from people who stay behind. Leverage means your effort multiplies. An investment account is leverage. It works while you sleep. A business is leverage. It earns when you're not working. A skill that commands premium rates is leverage. It earns more per hour than your current job. A network is leverage. It opens doors that resumes cannot. Stop trading hours for dollars. Start building systems that generate income with or without your direct presence. Step 7. Protect your time like it's your most valuable asset. Because it is. After 40, time is no longer theoretical. Every hour you spend on low-value activity is an hour you cannot give to wealth building. Every evening lost to passive consumption is an evening not spent building a side income. Every weekend spent maintaining a lifestyle you can't afford is a weekend not invested in escaping it. Be brutal about your time. More brutal than you've ever been. Because from here, every year matters more than it ever did before. Here's what I want you to understand as we close this out. You are not behind because you are stupid. You are not behind because you are lazy. You are not behind because you don't care. You are behind because nobody taught you the real rules. You were handed a script written by people who needed you to be a consumer, a borrower, an employee, a participant in a system that extracted value from you every step of the way. And you played it because that's what everyone around you was doing. Because nobody stood up in your economics class and said, the way you're being taught to live will make other people rich. But here's what changes everything. Once you see the game clearly, once you understand exactly how it works, you stop playing by the rules they wrote for you. You stop measuring success by the size of your car. You stop performing a financial life for people who don't love you. You stop funding other people's retirements with your interest payments. You stop hitting snooze on the future you actually want. The people who recover from where you are don't have secret advantages. They just decided at some point that the urgency was real, that the time pressure was real, that the discomfort of change was far smaller than the pain of staying the same. That moment is available to you right now, today, not when you feel more ready, not when things slow down, not when the timing is better. Now, the clock isn't your enemy. It's your last invitation to start.